Hey guys, welcome back to Arm Crossfire with SP and Gabi. How you doing today, Gabi?
I'm good, man. Thanks. How are you?
I'm sore.
I bet.
I'm really sore. Um, hey, we'll talk about that in a sec, but let's talk about what you can do to support the channel, guys. We got Adam Wilmot coming on here shortly, but we're going to do this quick intro. If you haven't already and you're watching this on YouTube, hit subscribe down in the corner. And if you're not watching on YouTube, go find it on YouTube and give it a watch. First off the bat here, let's recognize our sponsors. We got Smirnoff Ice coming in as usual, supporting us. Gabi, you got yours today. Excellent. And ReadyGo.ca. So ReadyGo Garb is a company that's been with us for a while. We're wearing their stuff today. And the contest for the past month was about the most thought-provoking question. The contest for this month at ReadyGo.ca, if you click on the About Us tab, scroll down to the bottom, they want you to write your best caption, catchphrase, or idea for the picture that they have posted as part of the contest on the site. So scroll down, follow the instructions there once you get to their website, and we look forward to seeing those entries. And the way it's going to work is ReadyGo.ca is going to determine the top three, and then you and I are going to pick the winner.
Sounds good, man.
And then, of course, the prize is the $40 coupon code for their website and 10% off for the lifetime. So once you win that, you get 10% off forever from that website.
Nice. Forever is a long time.
Forever is a long time. And Patreon members, we're up to 4, Gabi. We got a new one. So tier 1, we got Brandon Irwin, and we got Jorn Harold Hoibu. Well, let's got both those guys coming in at tier 1. Tier 2, Sean Russell, and our newest Patreon member, Bernie Marcocia. And Bernie, if I'm saying that wrong, feel free to correct me. So, Gabi, let's talk about. Hey, I don't know. I don't know.
Oh,
Nothing in the email address that would indicate that nationality or anything like that. So, Bernie, I'm sure you're watching. Shoot us an email. Give me some information.
Yeah.
And the other thing is, I had my super match last weekend with Richard.
I saw that.
And I got. What'd you think of it?
My initial reaction when I watched it, and I watched all the matches, is that it was staged.
Come on, Gabi, don't go there just because we got Wilmot coming on the show.
It's hard to. I mean, there was a lack of. It seemed like a lack of aggression or speed or assertion on the ready go, or just off the ready go. That I don't know, something didn't seem kosher to me.
Well, I can tell you that there was a lot of fast starts called. A lot of fast starts called. Okay. So we went to full counts numerous times on the fast starts and the fouls. And he flashed me off the go on the first match.
Yep.
Second match, I was able to do what I had planned all along. And you got called on a fast start for it. And I think there was an elbow foul, but there was like elbow fouls and fast starts getting called all over the place on both of us. Anyway, we ended up finishing the match 3-2. I think that probably Richard was getting tired by the last one, so was I. And yeah, that's how it worked out. I can assure you, though, not staged.
Fair enough. More importantly, it looked like the people there the venue was full. It looked like the people had a blast.
People had a blast, and there was other matches that happened on that card. The Leech Boys came in and were fairly dominant. Did you happen to see those matches?
No.
I mean,
no. I only saw your match and the Jackasses match. It's still in the match.
You must be referring to Curtis Klaschinski and Jeff Frank, and
yeah.
No.
When you told me to check it out, I thought you were exaggerating, and I'm like, yeah, he's Canadian. How overzealous can he be? And man, that was a sickening exhibition of arm wrestling.
Well, let's not get into it too much yet. Let's wait and see when Adam's on here and we can get his take on it. And yeah, we'll dive into her a little bit once we get Adam on the show.
Sounds good.
All right, man. We're here live. With me as usual is Gabi, and today our special guest, Mr. Adam Wilmot. How are you doing?
I'm doing good. How are you guys doing?
Good.
We're doing good. So you guys want to get right into it on how this evolved into you wanting to come on the show. And I will segue this a little bit because Gabi just called me or accused me of having a fixed match too with Richard Lupke. He said he told me that match was a setup. So, but let's not talk about that one because we're here to talk about your match with Mr. Jeff Hale.
You know what? I totally get people saying it was a setup, right? I just wish somebody would have told me beforehand so I didn't wreck my fucking shoulder and my neck for the last 2 months. You know, I've been laid up. That shit hurt. So if it was staged, please tell me ahead of time so I won't try so hard. You know what I mean? But beyond that, I rolled through him the first 2 matches, and maybe he was sandbagging. Maybe he underestimated me. That 3rd match, though, we got caught in his hook, and I took that elbow foul, and I laid it down. And then we came back for that 4th match, snatched me into it again, and I found a little bit of purchase, and I started to go through him on the other side. I got hung out away from my arm. I had no place left to go. I was at the end of the pad, but he was that fucking close, you know what I mean? And if you're staging something, you don't let anybody get that fucking close, right? You hold them in the center of the table, you make a little bit of a show of it, and then, you know, you pin the guy. But, yeah, I sold everything that match. You know, I was done after that point anyways. So if things looked optically bad after that, he probably was carrying me match 5. You know what I mean? I was in that open top roll. I was away from my arm, and he probably did want to make it look good. Who knows? You know, I went back and I watched it, and I was like, you know what? I can see where he's coming from, but, you know, that's not how things went. You know what I mean?
Yeah. At no point did I think you knew it was staged or had any involvement, nor would I believe you would have. It's just that it's going to that. I think it was the 4th or 5th match where you were wide open, and he's, you know, because when in match 3 when he hooked you, he went right to pin. His side pressure just dominated you once he had you cupped in. That was match 3, I believe, because you had the first 2 wins.
That would have been match 4, and it would have been after the restart. That's when he caught that out. He caught the elbow foul, and he went through. And then he took me down to the pad, and I was in an open top roll, but I had the bottom 2 of his fingers. I had a good bite on him, and I think he was worried if he surged, he was going to lose his hand, because I think we were on that verge pretty much the whole time, and me just about ready to crack his hand back, because that's what it felt like. And if you watch match, I think it's match 5, the one that you know, I say he might have carried me in, he almost loses his fucking hand. You know, you see his wrist bend back just ever so slightly, and I think if I would have had just a little bit more purchase, a little, like Neil likes to say, a little bit better bite there, maybe a higher grip, I feel like I might have been able to take his hand, you know. And here's another thing. I had no idea what I was getting myself into in terms of a super match. I had, like, pulled top-level tournaments for the last few years. You know, it's like you pull a match and then you got a couple minutes rest in between. I had no idea how short 90 seconds actually was. Holy shit. I was blown up after match 2. My hand was already numb. And then match 3, yeah. You guys watched it, so.
So would you say, compare yourself, your level to which you pulled Jeff Hale to where you beat Luke and Yanis? Do you believe you're stronger now, or do you believe you're stronger then?
Oh, I'm absolutely stronger now. I was making 165 from probably like 177, 178 pounds at that point. I was doing it at like 19% body fat. Now I'm down into the, you know, I don't want to say I'm in the single digits, but I'm like around 10 or 11, and actually still carrying the same weight, and actually, so being leaner, got more muscle, actually makes it easier to make weight as well. So, you know, can go up. Yeah, speaking of making weight, how big does Tony Kotowski have to be to miss making 165. Like, I've cut 19 pounds before, and I wasn't having eyeball problems and kidney problems and all that crap. Like, I felt like shit, don't get me wrong. But, like, this dude's got to be doing 25, 30 pounds. Easy, right? And I see posts of him saying he's walking around like 178, 180, somewhere. Nah, ain't happening. Nah, that dude is 190 plus. And then that's probably walking around dry. Now, bloated up, he is 200 plus. I watched that match with Sam. Sam was pulling a 200-pound man that day.
Yep. Yeah. I believe that, well, he's 5'8", but he's built like a fucking brick shithouse. I believe he's walked around 195 minimum. Huge.
And who knows, like, I haven't seen Tony at the pool in a few years. You know what I mean? Who knows, like, how lean he is with the shirt off? You know what I mean? I bet you he's probably walking around, single-digit body fat. So that's so much muscle mass.
And really, when he said he came to within 2 pounds of making weight and then just bailed on it, when they canceled the hammer or being a match but not for the hammer, not for the title, it's not like he decided to come in at 170 or 172, 173.
No. You go to town at that point. Yeah, you're going to miss it by an inch, miss it by a mile.
Which is fine. So he probably came in. Sam probably weighed 170. Tony probably weighed 202, anywhere from 195 to 205, something like that, bloated, with food and water and all that stuff in him. And it was just fine because it doesn't have anything to do with a hammer. And then when he beats up on him, he's slamming the table and screaming. That's what I had a problem with.
Same here. That's the same thing. Like, if you miss weight, put your head down, be humble. You're the bigger guy. You should have fucking beat him, right? I would have handled that a little bit differently. Would I have been excited that I beat him? Yes, because now I'm not getting embarrassed by the little man on TV, right? But you should have busted his wrist back. You know what I mean? You're 200 pounds. It'd be like me pulling like Brandon Elsesser or somebody like that. You know what I mean? Like, just, I'm supposed to lose. It's just how it goes.
Yeah.
Did not like that.
It was interesting because we had a match, and I know both of you guys have watched this. We're talking about like over the top celebrations, all that kind of stuff. We had a match last weekend that some people are talking about, and it's the Curtis Klaczynski versus Jeff Frank match. And both you guys watched that in preparation for today's episode. What did you guys think of the antics throughout the entire thing, even away from the table?
Go ahead,
Gabby, you go first? All right, I'll go.
You go.
Well, coming from the standpoint of, like, I didn't know who either one of these guys were. I thought it was bad enough. Like, there's a point of celebration, and then there's a point of being disrespectful to the other guy. And I've crossed that line both times, and, I apologize for it every time I do. Zach Lee, if you're watching, sorry for, what I did in Harrisburg. That was kind of messed up. But, that guy totally disrespected the other guy. And then I come to find out the one guy's like a novice, and the other guy's coming back after been pulling how many years? Like, bro, you're supposed to beat the guy. Don't try to make him like never pull again. That's like just being a shitty human being.
It was Gavi, you go ahead, man. I'll jump in after.
We see antics like that with Travis and Devin, and although I don't like it, whoever they're pulling at the time is an equal counterpart, and no matter if they feel embarrassed or they feel like they're being taken advantage of, they're not going anywhere. They're programmed at that level. You're programmed to take trash talking. You're programmed even to take some embarrassment. It's part and parcel with the level you're at. But Curtis, you have a 10 to 12 year vet who's a career level 2 amateur, never won anything, and here he is finally gets matched up against a novice who's a real nice guy, and he just. Basically, for the viewers that haven't seen it, maybe we'll put the link on the Crossfire page. But
I will now.
Yeah, but I mean, basically, pulling a poor man's Travis Bajan with the antics and the trash talking, but times 5 and a lot less tasteful, if that's possible. And it was just, it seemed like 8, 9, 10 minutes of constant berating and humiliation of the other guy.
They didn't even pull till 4 minutes into the video. Yeah. It's like, how much of this am I going to have to watch before I see some arm wrestling?
Yeah. Part of me wanted the ref to kind of take control and say, hey, Curtis, let's get this on the road. But sometimes it's not terrible for the spectators to see a little bit of gamesmanship. I just didn't like who was from and who it was addressed to. I'm not saying the guy's going to quit, but if those antics are ever going to make someone quit, it's going to be on a novice, right? Or have, say, what the fuck, what kind of sport did I get into? Like, what is this? So I just thought it was despicable. I voiced my opinion on the link. I think a lot of people not be able to get away with that. Canada's we're a very polite country, so it was taken okay. But man, I thought that shit was despicable.
Yeah, it was. Given what you told me about the backstory, yeah, it was shitty to do.
It's interesting because what happened, there was some talk about it. Curtis responded to you saying that Richard went out of his way to say congratulations. And I know Curtis is an excited and passionate guy. Like he really likes the sport of arm wrestling. I don't think he would intentionally do anything that would hurt it. However, he was out of line in this case. And when he said Richard went out of his way to congratulate him on the performance, I sat with Richard. He didn't like what he saw either. So it's he happened to be walking to the washroom and walked by Curtis and, said, hey, good pull. But because Richard's an ambassador and that's what he does. He's the nicest guy you'll ever meet in sports. So that's my take on the whole thing.
Water over the dam and under the bridge at this point, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
People don't forget these things, and arm wrestling has a internal karma. So eventually this will hurt this guy's reputation's already damaged, and whether or not he can get another match or what, but maybe he'll have to try to redeem himself later on in the future.
Hey, you know how many times I've had to redeem myself for some crazy shit I've said or done? I mean,
yeah, but
there's times when Bart and Dave were like, just don't come to practice, stay away. You know what I mean?
One thing with you, when you're a prick, but it's genuine. You're not trying to act. You're not trying to. It's just a genuine reaction to certain things. You just, and that I kind of like that about you. I kind of like that people know where they stand with you, and you're gonna tell people the way how you feel, and it's genuine. It comes off as genuine. But this guy was acting. This guy was trying to put on a perception, and it came off that way. It's different when someone's genuinely pissed, genuinely upset, and yeah, it's not the best thing. But that's why I think people like the Pennsylvania clan kind of forgave you, and because you're just, in the heat of the moment, people say things. It's human nature. But this guy like premeditated this act of humiliation beforehand. He was probably the night before in the mirror going through his act, right? So it's way different. Yeah.
I never used to. Oh, go ahead, SB.
I just want to get some clarification. Brandon Justice says, where's your line, SB? I don't know. I don't want him to just clarify what he means by that. So you go ahead while he's answering me.
I never used to be a pissed off puller. I was always like, I always shake my opponent's hand before the match, and I always try to be respectful towards them. What started like when I was like really pissed off was 2016 when I made it out to Vegas, and I see him interviewing Sam, and they're interviewing Giannis, and they're like, oh, all these guys are going to win, right? And I'm out there sitting there like, oh, I'm an also-ran. I'm out here as filler, huh? That's what I'm filler. Fuck you. I'm ruining your show tomorrow. And I almost did it. I tried to. But, I found there's something about getting yourself worked up almost into like a manic state. Like, you can explode on that table and you just there's something to Andy Fisher. I think maybe sometimes he's got to play it up now at this point. But shit, if I need hate fuel or something like that, all I have to do is go watch that video that Ryan Bowen made with that Jordan Davis about our 505 prediction. Oh man, I don't know if you've seen that, but homeboy, he trashed me pretty bad, man. That was not cool. Like they were laughing a lot. Lamb and oh man, it was. Yeah, my blood still boils over that shit. Like, I almost want to go up to 200 pounds just so I can tangle ass with Ryan Bowen at this point.
Yeah.
So Justice clarified. He said, line on smack, talking smack, antics, needless bullshit at the table. Where do you stop? Where do I stop? Well, man, you can see all my matches. I don't do a whole ton of that stuff. I do get excited and I do yell and scream and I don't talk a lot of shit to my opponents or anything like that. I mean, at one point, Travis and I were going to have a super match back in the early 2000s, and I basically told him that if he pulled that with me on the table, we'd be finishing the match in the parking lot. And I think he believed me. And, man, it is what it is. I mean, Travis has talked a lot of stuff about me and to me at the table, and you just kind of come to expect it. And I don't think he's ever crossed the line with me, and I don't think he has tried to embarrass me, but I don't know if it's for the purpose of trying to embarrass me or if it's the purpose of trying to just get in my head and make me forget how to arm wrestle, which for him it works quite a bit.
No, there's no malice behind Travis. He's trying to, number one, put on a show, and number two, get in your head.
Yeah.
More importantly, put on a show.
He's in a lot of arm wrestlers' head. You want to know who Travis's head or thinks about Travis day and night? Michael Todd. I want to see those two arm wrestlers right arm. That's what I want to see, because Travis will make Michael's head explode before they even get to the table. Like, could you imagine if that was Travis Bajent instead of Jerry Cataretti up there at the table?
Yeah, that would have been
a riot. Michael would have grabbed that hammer and been swinging it at people. You know,
Yeah.
like, oof, man, I saw that and I was just like, oh my God, what's going to happen? And then I started thinking, oh man, I'm glad Travis isn't up there. And then I started thinking to myself, oh man, what if Travis was up there? That would have been great.
Yeah. So we got a long question here, and this one's for you. This one's for you, Adam, I think, once I get through it. Next interview should be one of either Matt Mass, Mike Hale, or Ron Bath on their views and experiences with the MS State and the comments from other YouTubers stating they shouldn't compete at events of that level. There was 227 entries reported in this event. I agree with Chris Gobby. It's great for the sport to see so many angles. Since we have Adam presently, what are his thoughts of the celebrity status pullers competing at state championship events? Is it good or bad? So we're talking about super elite guys competing at the state level. Is it good or bad for the sport?
It's good, and I'm going to tell you why. It draws new guys in. New guys want to meet, the elite level pullers, top pros. It was a great thing for me to meet John Brzenk, and God, I was sorely disappointed afterwards. They said don't meet your heroes, and let me tell you, don't meet your heroes. Meet the guys you think you're going to hate, because Travis Bajent is a fucking riot. That dude is tons of fun to hang out with, all right? If I had to choose between, like, going out on a Saturday night with, Dave Chafee, John Brzenk, or Travis Bajent, it's going down to Travis every time, because we're going to get in the most trouble and have the most fun, right? So, what's that?
And smoke a shitload of weed.
Hear no evil, see no evil, speak no evil.
Before you go on, what was your problem with John? Why were you disappointed with John?
No. It's not that I was disappointed with him. It's just like he's met so many people in his life, probably, and so many guys come up and say to him, hey, man, it's been a dream of mine to meet you type stuff, that it's probably underwhelming to him at this point. And it's probably just like, yeah, okay. Whereas, like, when I seen Travis eats that shit up, man. If you're, like, a fan of Travis, he's going to, hey, man, how you doing? He's going to treat you like one of the family. Like, I've spent Thanksgiving dinner at Travis's house at this point, and I've only known the guy like 4 years, so. Goes to tell you, he's a really cool dude and a really welcoming guy. He gets a bad rap a lot of times, but yeah, man, he's good for the sport. I want to see him get back with WAL. It'll be a good thing.
He will. We'll see it.
I think that's up to Travis at this point.
He needs that $8,634 a month, I think it is, right? That's his price tag. So,
if anybody can eclipse what Devin has done, if they can get a stronger social media following and make more money off YouTube, it's Travis. If anybody can outdo Devin on that, Travis is the guy. He just needs to be dedicated to it a little bit more. And I think that at that point,
I think Artem's going to help that grow. And when he was on with you guys, I laughed my ass off for an hour straight. That was a great episode. So, enough of stroking Travis here, all right?
Yeah. Somebody here says Travis Bajent would mess up Michael Todd. George Shanty, and I think
psychologically, absolutely, he would. If Travis Bajent beat Michael Todd, we would find Michael Todd hanging with a towel sheet from the fucking balcony off the hotel the next morning. Okay, and I legit believe that. That's Michael Todd is that sensitive of a person.
Oh, Michael, I thought you were talking about Rebecca.
We have said, whoa, boys, we have seen Travis. You know, I remember at the WAL, I was standing 5 feet away when this happened, when Travis had one of the worst elbow fouls I've ever seen and pinned Michael. And what happened after that?
Michael lost his fucking mind. He was ready to fight right then.
I think he was, and justifiably so. I mean, that was crazy. And then Travis started giggling and ran away because he knew what he had just done. But they did restart the match. Anybody that says, though, that someone's going to come in here and be I don't know, what was the comment, would mess up Michael Todd. Man, when you're talking about two elite guys, I don't know if anybody's messing up. That would indicate that he's beating him and beating him bad. I don't think that's it.
I think if the match stops at all for any point after the go, Michael Todd wins, right? But I think Travis is explosive enough off the start that, you know, he might be able to negate that.
Yeah. So what do we got, you guys? Now we've talked about the fake match. We've established. Have we settled this debate?
You know, I don't think I'm going to be able to turn Gabi's head either way. I came out to state my case.
It's when I say I see it as stage, I'm not saying that I know it's stage. I'm saying it's what my
what you saw.
And it's mainly in the last match. Now I'm not there. I don't feel what you're feeling, but in the last match, when Jeff is tight, at a certain point in that last match, Jeff is a tight hook, hand tight to the shoulder, and he's surging to the pin, and you're holding him off. Now, you're not a defensive arm wrestler, bicep driven, so you're open, which is not a strong point. He's tight, which is his strong point, and you're
I'm not really playing with my bicep. I'm posted up more, and I'm trying to post up to his hand.
See, that's where I could be wrong because I don't see everything. But from what I see, he has a full engaged hook. He has full flexion across your pronator, and he's bouncing off you. Now, maybe the angle is wrong. Maybe I couldn't see everything. But from what I saw, if that's the case for me at stage now. But,
he's trying to come down, right? And I'm trying to post up through his hand. And what happens is he makes that transition, and then he makes that quick tricep press. And I just didn't have any. I wasn't applying any pressure in that direction. It was a quick pin, like my forearm got pinned like here on the pad, and good night, Irene. Real fucking bummer too, man. I could have used that money. I'm getting some dental work, and that shit's expensive.
Regardless, I think you're good for the league, and I fucking hope you get another match next year.
I hope I do too. And there's one person I'd love a rematch with Jeff, but there's one person I really want to hold hands with, and it's kind of like a personal issue, and it's Tom Holland. And I got to after pull a little bit with him in Richmond after he pulled with Giannis. Now, I know that doesn't mean a whole lot, but I feel like I could do a lot of things with his hand just from the grip. You know what I mean? If we get stuck in his hook, it could make for a really good match. That's somebody I got an eye on. It's him. And then, of course, once I feel like I'm ready, because I didn't even feel like I was ready for this match. I got 6 weeks notice, 2 of which were spent healing up, just resting. So I had four good weeks of training for this one, and now I'm just putting my foot on the gas and straight through to next year now. And I think I might even be ready for Giannis next year. Try and do a redo on that. Hopefully I can find a Joseph Levi to tire him out somewhere along the way first. That'd be but I would love to get in there with Giannis again. I love pulling the guy. He's great attitude, great person. Every time I've met him, he's like, "Oh, Adam, good to see you," and just one of them personalities that he almost automatically puts you in a good mood because he's always in a good mood. So
he's a good.
Yeah. I got to pull him in my second tournament ever. Yeah, second tournament ever was WAL Columbus, and holy shit, did that guy throttle me! Like. I thought I pulled a pro arm wrestler, and then it's like you pull like a level 5 arm wrestler when you're just when you're barely an amateur and you're pulling a level 5. Yeah, man, it can be discouraging, but it really wasn't. It was really fuel.
I remember meeting you at my Gold Classic, fucking 2013 maybe.
When I pulled Robert Drake, oh my god! Then I lost. I remember this.
Oh my God! You might be the only guy that's ever lost to Robert Drink.
Hey, Robert's a good guy, and I kind of did him wrong. he put a lot of money in arm wrestling, and he got a bad rap.
He did, yeah.
Tell Ryan what the wager was for that match. That was my
Oh,
favorite.
Ryan. So this is how that whole thing evolved. He's posting up that he's bringing Anna Cherie, Anna Cherie Garcia, the Playboy model, to Michael Classic as like one of the ring girls. And me being like just the wise ass I am, I'm like, oh shit, man, you're bringing Anna Cherie. I'll pull you in a super match. Winner gets to take her out on a date. Yeah, I didn't win.
Damn.
But I still got to Google her goodies for the better part of 2 days. So.
Win in my books.
Oh, you want to know what's kind of funny? I went into a lingerie store to pick up, some negligee type stuff for a lady friend of mine. Holy shit! Guess who's on the fucking cover of the box? Anna Cherie. She's looking like Kim Kardashian now, man. Just like, boom, wham, just. I hope her husband don't have jealousy issues.
Don't be too quick to dismiss super match between you and Bowen though. That could be spicy. I'd pay to see that.
Well, here's the thing. I'd have to blow up. And the thing is was he not 165 pounds at one point and didn't even qualify for WAL like Las Vegas last year? I think he lost to Jordan Davis.
He lost to Jordan Davis in the Oceanic qualifiers, right? He took second to Jordan Davis. I don't know if he ever made 165 in Vegas, but I know he made 165. I
never saw Ryan in Vegas. Like he never came over that year. I don't think Jordan came over. Ryan stayed home.
Well, he didn't qualify, right? Only the winner of that class, and he took second to his teammate.
Right,
so he didn't over. But he's maybe 215, but it's a blow to 215. I mean, if you can get up to 200 with this roughly the same body composition you have now, you're probably a stronger man. But I always like super matches where there's a feud involved. It makes it more interesting.
Yeah, well, he lit that shit on fire, let me tell you. Mm-hmm. And you know what's even worse? Is he couldn't even be contrite in his recap and be like, you know what, I was wrong. He's like, I was right. Jeff came through in the end. And he was like, he said, I know how to peak for an event at the right time, which I guess is a little bit of I don't know. I felt like it was a backhanded compliment. You know what I mean? And
a little bit.
I tried to be cool with the dude too. You know what I mean? Like I met him down in at Travis's event, which I did fucking horribly at, and that's one of the reasons people were like, "Oh, Wilmot sucked," is because I worked 12 fucking hours and then drove 8 down to Travis's house, cut 6 pounds in the fucking truck with a sauna suit and the heat on the way fucking down there, fucking way in, and all I wanted to do was go to sleep at that point. And then, oh man, speaking of that night, so we get to Travis's house, Bowen actually drove my truck over there, right? So Bowen's like the second or third arm wrestler to drive my truck after like Bob Brown and Josh Handelin. But long story short, Sabin Baldalescu's there. I wake up on the couch and he's standing over me in his fucking underwear. Like, so I'm automatically freaked out, right? And he's like, I can't find my passport. We need to find my passport. I'm like, all right, dude. Go put some pants on. We'll find your passport. Right? Get up. Fucking, we are trashing my fucking truck, pulling up the fucking carpet and shit, looking for this dude's passport. He gets in the house, opens up his fucking suitcase, and it's like sitting right there. But,
he's a different guy. Like, yeah, I think I had to block him for a little while on Facebook years ago because he kept posting porn.
He's a weird dude. Yeah, man.
There's a real good. Sorry, Adam, there's a real good question coming in that I wanted to ask you, but George Shanty's asking. George wants to know, how about you and Ezzy Warden?
Man, he's got such a massive hand, you know what I mean? Ezzy's hand is nasty, his top roll's nasty. I think like the all-time series between him and me is like 6-1, right? And it always seems like I've never caught him at a tournament except one time where I was like, 100% ready to go. Like that was the tournament I trained for. Because usually when I pick a tournament out, I want to put a training camp into it. You know what I mean? Like, for me to be at top level, that's the way you got to do it. You got to have a goal. You got to train, you know, like Nick says, for a 15-round fight, you got to train hard for 15,000 minutes, right? And kind of along them lines. So, you know, 10 weeks, you know, is a good round figure. That's Sarah Bachman came up with that one for me. So it's like 10 weeks good training, and you know, for that tournament. And that tournament, him and I went 1-1 in, right? And I actually lost to God, I can't remember his name, Mike Surplus. They call him Nitro. That dude had like sausage fingers, you know what I mean? It was like kind of weird to grip up with that. But that was at the New York State Fair, and that was I think that was a year, maybe 2 years ago. I can't remember. But right now, if I was like the shape I was in for Jeff Hale's match, I think me and Ezzy makes a good match. I'm not going to say he beats me. I'm not going to say I beat him. That's a good match to watch. And I'm sure it's going to happen somewhere along the lines. You know what I mean? And I know he's his name is on the end of Neil Pickup's lips, you know. So we're going to see Ezzy, I think, next year maybe in the lightweights. I don't know if they feed him to me or if they feed him to someone else, but I seen him give Sam Harris all Sam could handle, and it was all in the hand. You know what I mean? It's all hand with Ezzy. If it was arm to arm, fuck, I'm not even worried about it if I can get it arm to arm. But it's getting past. He's got a hand like Alan Fisher, and he's 30 years younger. So there you go.
Yeah. Dangerous stuff.
You want to do that question in the comment section here, Gabi, from Donna?
I wish I could see the damn comments.
Well, she says, what exactly does ready mean? I've been told that in my short time, a champion should always be ready. So I guess we're talking about staying ready.
Because I don't know, right?
So we're talking about staying ready all the time versus, you know, building up and doing a training camp, like you said. So what does ready
it's hard
mean?
to be a man every single day of the week, you know, and only very special people can do that. So, you know, kudos to the ones that can. I'm not one.
I guess ready would mean someone who stays in relatively fine shape, good shape, when a super match is brought to their attention. Unfortunately, with our sport, there's not the top athletes aren't getting paid steady, and we all have jobs and families and stuff. So I guess it's hard to. I don't think there's any athlete, well, in any sport that's always in peak form. But I guess the top professionals are always in relatively good shape. They don't let, like the old bulk and cutter system bodybuilders of the 70s, where in the off season they can gain 60, 70 pounds and walk around with a gut, or relatively speaking, a gut. I think today's athletes in any sport, MMA, boxing, bodybuilding, the off season, people are still training hard. People are still focused. So
that's where I'm at, you know, this year. Before I would take an off season, I would gain 15 pounds. You know, I like fucking pizza and cookies, right? Now, no. Now that I got offered that super match, which was cooler and shit. And here's the other thing. I don't even know if they're going to call me again. They brought me in on a one-time agreement, whereas I know some other guys got multi-year contracts, right? So they brought me in probably wondering how this was going to go. So is he going to get killed, or is he going to make a match of it? Like, how is it going to go? We'll leave it open so we're not tied, you know, married to this guy for 2 or 3 years, right? And I really believe, and I'll go to the grave believing this, I believe Neil wanted Jeff to absolutely fucking kill me. And then if not for anything else, the shit that I talked to Neil on Facebook and the stuff I said to him about the stuff I said publicly was bad enough. You guys should have seen what I was sending Neil in PMs. Like, it was wrong, right? And I think he sat there and he told Jeff, he was like, listen, you get this dude, you get him in the center of the table, and you talk shit, you make him feel like this fucking big, so he never, ever asks for another super match again. And like that's what I thought going in. That's how it felt to me. Like, because Neil and Jeff are good friends, and Neil even copped to that. So I thought he wanted me as like a sacrificial lamb, like you said, but obviously I had different ideas.
Yeah, I think personality sells, especially genuine personalities, and I think you'll probably get called back next year, the year after, I would think, at a certain time.
Well,
hopefully it's for Holland.
For my piece of that question that Donna asked, for me, ready means that I'm 2 weeks out from anything. So I keep training, and if some promoter phones me, I can immediately start my rest period, and I can be ready for an event. Of course, it's going to be way better if I know something's coming 6 months down the road and I can focus on it.
And that's for everybody. You know, like if somebody called me now and said, Adam, would you pull this guy in 2 weeks? Like, Gabi, I didn't tell you this, but there was a chance you and me could have pulled in a couple of weeks out in Utica at the hockey game. And I actually told the promoter, no, don't do it because my neck and my shoulder aren't ready. Like, I'm still wrenched up from Jeff. I just can't get over this. I keep sleeping on my shoulder in the night, and it won't fucking heal. So it's driving me nuts. But
you guys are just like staged a match? I'm just kidding.
Maybe left arm. I think Gabi's left arm is probably strong enough that he could hold me in the center of the table and talk some trash or make it look good, because my left arm's like a spaghetti noodle. It really is. My right arm's where it's at. And the reason for that is I bowled for 20-some-odd years, right? Hurling a 16-pound object 20 miles an hour down a lane for, 20 years, it's going to have a little bit of an effect. So, like, I got really, really good cut pressure from it. And I got good, strong fingers. So it's a good base.
And generally, even if I could control you left-handed in the super match, I don't have a reputation. I'm not big on holding someone, and unless they've disrespected me or I have no respect for them or something they did, and I think it's like retribution. Like if I pulled Curtis, I would embarrass him. But other than that, if I'm pulling someone I respect, I don't do that at all.
What would you do if you pulled Dom Poussin?
I'd hold him in the middle of the table and embarrass him.
I actually met him in Syracuse, and down there, he was really mild-mannered and, like, reserved. He was not excited at all. He was actually a really nice guy, a really humble guy. And, like, I don't know if it's coming down south across the border or what that caused that, but, like, I didn't see what you posted in that video of him jerking the guy across the table and stuff. Like, I didn't see that at that event. Like, he was a nice guy, and, somebody I'd have to deal with.
It seems to me he's maturing, but how is he in the setup? Like, he's notorious for being incredibly hard to set up because he's trying to take every single advantage steady.
Oh, man, Travis was the ref. Travis wasn't having none of that shit. You know that. So,
but yeah, it seems like he's maturing, which is good. And it's good that he's making a lighter weight class. But just based on the threats and stuff like that, I would hold him, and definitely.
Yeah.
Threats?
So, you know what? Can I ask you about something, Chris?
Yeah.
When did the rift between, like, you and Devin, like, really start? Does it go back to, like, because I thought it goes back as far as, like, Game of Arms Season 2. Because when he went on the California team, and after you guys put all your eggs in the basket with the high hookers and signing with WAL and stuff like that, feels like he kind of left you behind. You know what I mean? I feel like it kind of started there.
No, him and I never. I might have taken some. We've trolled each other, but Devin always been able to take tons of, right? He's mentally strong, confident guy. You can't really get under his skin. It started when he started king moving, and I guess it was match after his match with Michael Todd last year, and I guess I don't know. I just lost respect for him, and I started taking a little bit more jabs, and it just started one night where I took a small jab at him, and he took a massive jab at me. He thought it would affect me. It had no effect.
Here's the thing: you brought up honor to a fucking soldier. Like he's got to be able to differentiate the two. But even still, like you fucking triggered him.
Yeah, that was my reaction to what he tried to trigger me. Now, you don't understand the backstory, but he tried to do the same thing with me, and I had no reaction. I came back with the honor thing to trigger him, and it triggered him. And ever since that point, he's just lost it. For me, it all started with him kinging. I lost too much respect for him, and I don't think he's a guy that. But at
the same time, Crazy George for Kings moving. Do we feel the same way about Crazy George doing that move? Because personally, I don't. I want to arm wrestle Crazy George before he's old as fucking dirt already.
My problem with George
is in the fucking dirt.
My problem with George is he's an icon and he's a legendary king mover, but he tried to come up to me at a tournament once and tell me how strong he is. And this was like in 2006 or 2007. And You're not fucking strong. Like I know when someone's strong, they can stand up at a table, stop a guy, and ease him to the pin. It doesn't take him 19 minutes to pin a guy. I said, I'm not saying you're not a great arm wrestler, but you're not strong. Don't tell me you're strong.
Oh, he's a great grinder. He'll grind anybody out, but he's not strong.
Well, that's it. He's grinding off joint leverage. But I have trouble when a King's mover tries to tell me how strong his bicep is, or how much side pressure, how hard he trains. You use bone leverage. Like, don't talk to me about how hard you train or how strong you are. So I usually have problems with people that start lying to me. When you start lying to me, you're going to have problems. And so I just don't have any respect for people that King's move. What do you want? I mean,
I don't like it. It's optically displeasing for me. Like when Dave and Devin did the double king, like I was at work. I almost threw my fucking phone across the room. It was just like, I don't want to see that shit. You know? It was like a bad porno. It's like just like you don't want to watch it. And I can respect the win at all cost attitude. I can respect that. And like Travis said, it's not Devin's fault that WAL has the table set up the way they have it set up. Like, shit, I want higher pin pads. If they had higher pin pads, shit, I'd be $3,500 richer at this point. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I kind of disagree with that principle because Devin once told me, well, I would king move if I could. When I get older, I'll king move. I will lose 200 straight matches in a hook before I king move. Winning is not that important to me where I have to subject my pride to anything. I got into the sport because it was a way to test my strength, my resolve versus another man without getting a concussion, without bleeding. That's why I love
arm wrestling too.
And the King's
I love
move,
fighting, but I hate getting punched in the face. So,
right. But the King's move is a polar opposite of that, and that's why I have my issues with the King's move because it's the opposite of what our sport stands for in its purest form. And I'm an arm wrestling purist. So the King's move.
I see both sides of the argument, right? But when you got to like Devin, like that guy's got to feed his family off of arm wrestling right now, right? That's his job. So, do what you got to do to feed your family.
So he makes a decision, and I don't blame his decision. He makes a decision, but any decision a man makes is when it's controversial or ambiguous, it's subject to criticism. My problem is when someone criticizes you, how you react is based on if you're okay or not with your decision. If I tell you, Adam, that fucking shirt, if I tell you that fucking shirt is green, and you're like, well, no, it's not. You're not going to get offended because you know that fucking shirt isn't green. But if there's something about you that you're not crazy in balance with, and I bring it up, and you get defensive, it's because deep down you're not sure the color of what that shirt is. So it's like it's more his reaction to the criticism than his decision to King's move or why he does it. That concerns me or that occupies my thoughts.
Travis Bajan says George is strong and not letting strong people pin him.
That's the essence of the King move.
Yeah.
In 15 minutes when you're down to 10%, I'm going to pin you. Yeah, great. It's efficient. I'm not saying it doesn't work that way. I'm just saying, as a purist, it's cowardly.
Sometimes you can't help when you get caught in a King's move either. You know what I mean? Because you're pulling with back pressure and the guy just straightens your arm out for you, and it's like you're all the way out and all you can do is rotate like this. It
stand up
happens, but to like go there, like that's got to be every guy's last ditch effort. You know what I mean? Like I'll take that as a last case scenario, and that's what Devin had to do with Dave. And he had to do with Todd Hutchings too. And what a monster is fucking Todd Hutchings! Oh my God! Like we haven't even touched on that guy yet. Next year he's going to be a lot of trouble for people, man. Like he's just getting acclimated to being at that weight. You know what I mean? So
if he stays healthy, he will.
Yeah, he's known for torn bicep. How the hell do you tear a bicep with the holding the peg? I'm still trying to figure that one out. He tore his left bicep holding the peg.
I don't know how that happened.
Like you can see it on
pre-existing something.
Pre-existing condition. And
must have been on antibiotics or something like Cipro or something. Melts your tendons.
Maybe on too much Winstrol, dries up your tendons. I don't know what he was on.
We had the tournament last weekend where there's an amateur puller that broke their arm, in the event, and the puller himself said, I had pre-existing injuries in my arm. Oh, what the hell are you arm wrestling for? Like, there was a good chance. He said that he knew there was a good chance his arm was going to break.
Somebody might have just wanted some time off from work. I don't know what comp was up there in Canada, but I hear they take care of people pretty well up there.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah, well, there's a reason why gas costs $8 a fucking gallon in Ontario, okay?
And Travis sums it up, says, winning should be everything. Sums up your entire career.
Not for
Tell
me.
you what, this is where you guys are probably going to fucking hate me. Winning isn't everything for me, right? It's really not. Respect, that's more important, right? Respect is the most important thing. Money is the second most important thing, right? And then that comes third.
I'll tell Travis one thing. When he's on his money is everything, winning is everything for him. When he's on his deathbed, the last thing he's going to be thinking about is how much money he won or how many matches he won. I can tell you that for sure.
He's going to be thinking about how he provided for his kids and shit like that. Like,
no, he won't. I don't believe so.
Look what he's done for his son, Tyson. That kid is, he's raised a good kid there. That boy is doing things, man. He can sling that fucking football. Trust me. I could see that kid going to the next level.
Yeah.
I hope so. Kid seems to have a boatload of potential. Travis is athletic. Travis, any sport he plays, I've seen him fucking throw a basketball.
He's a D1 pitcher, man. Travis played D1 baseball.
Yeah.
So
super athlete.
There's a pedigree there to rip off Max Taubman.
Yeah, absolutely. I just don't think these things are the most important thing on earth.
Arm wrestling isn't who I am. It's something that I do. And I got to remind myself that, and sometimes I lose track of it and I get myself wrapped up in something that happens. And, you see some crazy shit come out on Facebook and then I got to disappear for 6 months. And
yeah.
You know what I found though? Winning is the best deodorant. Like, you could say some crazy shit and piss a lot of people off, but if you apologize and you start to win a lot, that shit tends to get forgotten.
Well, Justin Bishop says, respect comes and goes, winning never goes away.
Winning does go away. Winning will always go away. That's my point. You will eventually not be able to win. You will eventually fade and start taking losses, or you'll quit to avoid taking losses.
But you have a legacy to leave behind.
Yeah, a legacy. Fucking living in the past, man. Like, I don't know. I'm still on the same page.
I'm disappointed I lost to Jeff. Don't get me wrong, but in the grand scheme of things, was it bad for me that it went that way? Absolutely not. My stock rose 10 fucking fold. So winning isn't everything. It really isn't. And that match proves it right there.
That's pretty true.
Created conspiracy, created tons of buzz. And it's not really they're not looking for who's winning, who's losing. They're looking for drama. They're looking for buzz in social media and stuff. And your match did all that. I mean, for as far as they're concerned, I'm sure your match was an absolute home run.
Absolutely. And Jason Merlot says that, Adam, and you answered it already. So you feel like you gain more respect after your performance with Hale, and then follows it up with because obviously a lot of people underestimated your potential with that match.
My biggest problem was, I beat Luke. And then I'm trying to hit like every tournament and pull like every big name guy after that, right? I'm getting my ass kicked. So, got to come back out 2017. I won that Chicago tournament right there. And were the top guys there? No, but there was still, Brandon Simpson was there. He won an Arnold Classic title at 176. You had Robbie Russell. He's a beast from down south. Dan Belfay. He was there. He finished second. So it wasn't like a slouch of a tournament. I've beaten a lot of the what would you call it? Tier 3, Tier 4 guys, Chris?
No, that was Chicago was a good tournament, and I had Dan winning that. I think I had Jeremy Fraley winning left, and he did. But when you beat Dan in the way you beat Dan, because Dan's been kicking all our lightweight asses here in Canada for many years. I have wins on him, but not many right. Many left, but not many right. And when you went through him like that,
Shit, Ethan Fritz was looking at that tournament.
Yeah. I was watching World Cup rugby, and they're talking about the French team, and the French team is a funny team because they can lose to anyone and they can beat the All Blacks on any given day. They're so unpredictable. And you remind me of that. Like, you can go and fucking be a bum, and you can go 2-0, or you can fucking upset the biggest name in arm wrestling. I find you're so unpredictable that way, but that's great. That's what's great about you. It's hard to predict.
That lead people to believe that, and the two of them are Vegas 2017, when we had to walk in and out of the fucking building 3 fucking times, and I was literally outside in a black shirt, black pants, fucking sweating. Just like I couldn't keep the water in me. I was dehydrated by the time I hit the floor, right? And then first match, who do I get? Ilya Sadov. Now, I just beat Ilya, a month before. I've gotten 2 wins over him. He hasn't beaten me yet in life. So I'm pretty confident. I'm like, all right, this is a good warm-up match. I get up to the table. This dude's bicep was like this fucking big. I'm like, oh my God, that's not the guy I remember arm wrestling, right? Get up there, just wham, slams me into a hook. I'm just like, wide open, done, right? Kid goes on to finish second that day, right? So that's not exactly like a bad loss. And then I lost to Craig Sanders, another guy that's beaten me before that I still haven't figured out how to arm wrestle with yet. So, I went 1-2 that day. I beat Jim Coyle, senior citizen. All right, I feel real good about myself. So that was a rough day. And then last year, 2018, I flew out to San Diego for that Alan Fisher event. And that went wrong from the moment I fucking landed, right? Travis was like, I got a room for us, man. Don't worry about it. Taking care of him. We're staying with Scott Wynn. He's got a condo. So we'll drive down there and stay with him. We get to Scott Wynn's condo. Yeah, it's a king bed and a pull-out couch. Guess who gets the fucking floor? I get the floor. Yeah. Needless to say, I didn't sleep that night. Showed up the next day. I mean, it's California, They have good treats out there, let's just say the least. And, yeah, man, I was just ruined that day. Got up to the table with that Juan Carlos Arizani, the Mexican puller. Strong dude. Set up like he was going to go through my fucking top knuckle, right? And he slams into a hook, which really surprised me. And he's got me there. I'm holding him. And I'm like thinking to myself, shit, man, I got Jamie Shelton in the next match. I can't burn myself out. So I'm like, slip underneath. And they call a pin. And I'm like, oh, fuck. Are you kidding me? So took that loss. And then get up there with Sam Pofscher. I don't know if you know Sam.
I know him. I know him well.
Yeah. Sam sets up in the strap, and he went through me too, man. So I can see why people are like, yeah, well, lots of fucking bum, and you got lucky against Giannis Luke because, my track record since that point was not good. But I knew I had beaten some good guys in between that. I just needed to get my head right. I needed to train right. I needed to get my body weight right was a big fucking problem. Because after they canceled the big money finals, dude, I got depressed really bad. You know what I mean? Like, I had anxiety at that point, and that just threw me into a full-blown fucking depression. And I just, I ate everything in sight. I got up to 211 pounds, Chris. Like, wow. Yeah. There's a tournament. I stepped on the scale in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. I was 211 pounds. And I took my shoes off so I could be in the 209-pound class. Yeah. That happened. And then they come back with the Super Match Series, right? And, of course, I'm chirping online about not getting called and Max getting a call and, all these other guys going to the front of the line when I'd been toting the company line for so long. It was, yeah, man, that was a tough pill to swallow. But I had to break out of that oh, why me, this and that. Like, as soon as I dropped that why me, why is this happening, as soon as I ended that shit and just said, fuck it, train hard, do what you can, that's when things started happening for me, positive mental attitude, right? It worked.
Yes, sir.
Well, you guys ready for some questions?
Yep.
Hit me, man. I'm ready.
All right, these are pretty general. And Adam, I'm sure you've watched the show and seen that we just get questions sent in all the time. So number one, Sheldon Short, can you fellas explain the strap as the ref is strapping the competitors together? They ask high or low. As a competitor, what are you to expect with either strap position?
All right, for me, I want to take this one. If I feel like I'm going to take the guy's hand, if I feel like I'm stronger in the hand, like I'm going to roll his wrist right over, I want the strap up high on my wrist, so I have a little bit more freedom of movement there, right? If I'm going to get flopped over, I want the strap down here around my arm, so I have a little bit more of an anchor point, so I can use my arm through the press instead of being all up here further out from your hand. Does that make sense to you?
Sure. For me, I can't imagine a scenario in my style where I would ever want the strap high, unless I was trying to do a flop wrist press.
See, I'm like, if I was trying to do a flop wrist press, I'd want the strap low. I'm the opposite way, because you're creating an anchor point lower down your arm. If the strap's higher up, right, you're pulling more from here when that strap cinches in instead of from down here through that press.
I don't have the range of motion I don't feel like if I put the strap low that I'm actually going to be able to achieve flopping my wrist back. And
well, it's a good thing, isn't it?
That is a good thing, yeah. But 100% of the time I will ask for a low strap just to get leverage.
Every time I took the strap against Jeff, I wanted the high strap. I got a nice little anchor point on my wrist, like right about there, that I like to put the strap right onto. And yeah, man, it feels comfortable. Like 99% of the time, as soon as Bart or whoever's reffing starts to tighten down that strap, I know if I'm going to win or lose. You feel it. I feel it in my hand immediately. I know I'm going to win this match. I know I'm going to lose this match. And it's a matter of getting your hand like sucked underneath the guy when they cinch the strap down. If you can keep it bowed out just a little bit and stay on top, yeah, feel strong.
The WAL is the one place where you can cheat your ass off in the strap setup. You can hold it down there, you can rise, all kinds of stuff, and now Bart's going to watch.
The only thing you really need to do with the strap, I wish I had mine here. It's out in the truck. But get your webbing a little bit higher. And the ref, make sure when you try to jam your hand up this way and get that angle back here. If you can get that strap right there, anchored down around that part of your wrist, game over. Almost every fucking time, unless the guy's just an absolute beast. If you get the strap straight across your hand, like right here, you're fucked.
When I ref a tournament and I'm reffing amateurs and novice and I put the strap on, I ask them, you want it high or low? And they're like, I don't know. The answer is 9 times out of 10, you always want it low. The 2 points of pressure for back pressure is from the hand and from the brachialis and from the lat. If you have it high and the opponent has more lat, you're in trouble. The only time I would think having the strap high would be an advantage is if you absolutely, your only point of advantage on your opponent, your only point of advantage is pure pronation of the hand. If that's the case, you need it high, or else his back pressure will suck your only advantage away. So yeah, and most of the time, most top rollers want their back involved anyway because it's a bigger muscle group. That's why you see 2 top rollers both want the strap low.
A lot of lat pressure when I arm wrestle too, you know what I mean? But I still like that strap high because I feel like a lower strap limits your range of motion in your hand. I feel like that limits your range of motion. Ryan says he thinks the high strap limits his range of motion. I guess it's like Rorschach baiting, you know what I mean? Same thing, people see 2 different things.
It's that exact move that it would limit my range. But if any of my guys that I train go to a tournament that I'm reffing and I say, do you want the strap high or low? And they say high, they better have an explanation for it after we get off the table.
The only explanation is if I'm pulling you, Adam, and I'm pulling you, and you have more bicep, you have more everything. The only thing I think I have over you is my pronation can take your flexion. I need the strap high. I absolutely need the strap high if I have a chance. So that's when your opponent's stronger everywhere, but in one isolated area. But that's super rare. So yeah, 19 times out of 20, strap low.
You know what? Just because you guys said that, when I go to practice Wednesday this week, I'm gonna go strap low the whole time, and I'm gonna just start hitting back pressure and just see what it feels like.
Yeah. Right on.
Still learning, right, man? I've only been doing this. This is just starting year 6 now, right?
Yeah.
I don't think there's anybody in the Supermatch series that's been pulling less time. Has there been? Bowen, maybe? Bowen's might have been less time than me. Maybe Max.
I think Bowen started early. He's just irrelevant for a few years. But yeah.
Yeah, man, what the hell? Like, how the hell did I get a Supermatch at MGC when I'd only been pulled like 6 months? Like, I have a knack for interjecting myself into certain situations, man.
But the sport needs that, dude. If people are too shy or hesitant to fucking step into a fucking ring because they don't think they fit. I mean, I'm not saying super matches need to be accepted.
It's like when I was a sophomore, I made varsity football. Right, we had a pep rally. I got fucking booed by like 3,000 people in school, man. It was ridiculous. Like, yeah, that once you had that shit happen, it's like, well, you've already been as embarrassed as you're ever gonna get, kid. So don't even worry about it at this point, right?
All right, boys. Next question. You guys will like this one. Bard Grindheim. Have you seen the training videos coming from Bowen lately? Bowen is just a little bit behind Todd in most of the side pressure movements. What do you guys think about that? Shouldn't Todd be much stronger? Is it a sign of that Bowen is getting really strong, or is Todd out of shape, or a bit of both? In my opinion, Todd is making Bowen look really strong.
Those are linear movements. Like the cable machine and shit don't arm wrestle back. You know what I mean? Like, you're not grabbing somebody's hand. So, like, all that stuff, and like guys doing table curls and guys doing the numbers don't matter to me. They never have. Like, yeah, everybody wants to lift heavier weight, but that doesn't mean it doesn't translate to the table. I don't think.
Well, it's interesting that you can be 5 pounds of pressure behind a guy, and he can make you look like a novice in a particular movement.
Yeah, it's very dangerous to put value into training numbers. I can tell you that when someone claims or someone states something, like with Ryan and Todd, or someone has an opinion, or Todd's training with him, I want to know how much money is exchanged hands. And when money has exchanged hands, I tend to put less value in the opinions of those people. But yeah, I don't pay any attention to that.
It's kind of funny you brought that up, because that thought went through my mind. I was like, is he paying Todd for this knowledge? Like, was he paying Brezink to go to his house? Like, I want to like Ryan Bowen. I want to like the guy. You know what I mean? Like, I want to like everybody, but he's just making it so friggin' hard on me, man. You know, like, jeez. Because Australians are cool people. Like, we had an Australian basketball team, like Prince Edward College or Prince Alfred College, come up here one time and put on a basketball exhibition. Coolest fucking people on the planet, you know what I mean? And, man, when I met Bowen, it's like, what a fucking stick in the mud.
Yeah. Like I said, does good things in the sport, but he's a salesman. You take what he says with a grain of salt. He told me that he jumped in his corner at Wall because he's his friend. So yeah, it has nothing to do with you paying him to train, you paying him to come to Australia, this and that. And same with Todd. When money is exchanged hands, don't tell me how good a friendship is.
Oh, looks like we're having a technical difficulty, he said.
Yeah, we lost Ryan, I guess.
Oh, so sad, Ryan. We've been carrying this show anyway, man.
Yeah, it's all good. He's been building something big over there, and it's been carrying over. So, he's doing a lot of good things. But as an individual, when he states something, when he claims something, always take it with a grain of salt.
I actually thought of this earlier. Is Ryan Bowen doing good things for arm wrestling? Yes. But Ryan Bowen is doing good things for Ryan Bowen first and foremost. Yeah. And that's how it is. And don't try to act selfless in any type of way. No. There's a return on investment that somebody's looking for, right? Just like I am, just like anybody else is. It's just like we all have different things in mind.
Yeah,
like Michael Scott, he wants to be a Hollywood actor. I can see that 100% through and through, and that's probably why he freaked out so bad when they were about to make him pull Jerry again, because he was seeing all of that shit slip away from him. You know what I mean? He was seeing that SWAT episode go down in flames. He was seeing commercials, all that stuff that he thinks he's going to be in line for. Which he potentially could be if this shit blows up. Don't get me wrong, but I think he freaked out because all that was going away. You know what I mean? Yeah. It wasn't because he was about to lose an arm wrestling match.
Yeah. Michael goes as his fame goes, right? So as his fame is high and, going strong, so is his happiness. He goes as his fame goes.
I don't want to be harsh on the guy either. Like I said, I want to be friends with everybody. I just this is my unvarnished opinion from what I saw.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, he's a good guy. Loves the fame. Nothing wrong with that. He's ambitious. I got no problem with that.
Yeah, there's certain guys that want more out of the sport. They want to take it to a different level. You know what I mean? I love the example of Scott Norton. You know what I mean? He arm wrestled for 10 years. Did his whole thing with over the top, beat Cleve Dean. I lost you guys, I think. Am I the only one left?
I can hear and see you.
I can't see you. But, Scott Norton, we were talking about him at Over the Top and then transitioning into professional wrestling, right? It's a bigger paycheck, right? Can't fault guys for wanting a bigger paycheck. So
for sure. Hey, Ryan's back. Can you see Ryan, Adam?
I haven't been able to see Ryan the whole show.
Holy fuck.
I've been gone for 5 minutes because I was having technical difficulty on my end, but I'm glad you guys were able to keep going.
For sure. Your volume's low, Ryan.
Yeah.
Up your volume, buddy.
Okay. I'll go a little bit higher, but I think things will fix themselves now.
That's better.
Yeah.
I can hear you now. Like I said, I haven't been able to see him the whole show. I got you at the top of my screen, and then I got me at the bottom, and everybody messaging me right now down in the other corner.
All right. So you guys finished up the Bowen question, I assume, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so the next one is Sean Russell. I know it has been asked before, but what makes you progressively stronger on the table, lifting or 100% table time? I know you both, but some people only do table time. Not sure if I'm being clear on this. So,
all right,
stronger.
Guys like Paul Talbot that I know don't even go into the fucking gym, right? They're just naturally brick shithouse fucking strong, and they get all their strength from arm wrestling and arm wrestling practice. I try to supplement my arm wrestling training with training in the gym, right? Just in terms of burning off calories and keeping blood flowing through, staying healthy. Like you said before in a different episode, if you just try to sit around and let something heal, it's going to take 5 times as long as if you force yourself to get back in that gym and get a little bit of blood flowing through the friggin' thing. So I'm in there. I love doing pull downs, close grip pull downs, lat rows, and favorite thing for a bicep, if you're going to do a bicep workout, don't do a table curl, right? That's retarded. Go find an incline bench, sit down on it, grab 2 25-pound dumbbells, give yourself at a 45-degree angle, and then just on the incline bench. And that isolates that bicep head fucking beautifully. And I blow up after 5-6 reps, man. And it feels like you took a shot in each arm. Just drop the things and on to the next one. So definitely go to the gym if you can, right? If your arm hurts, go to the gym, just lift lighter weights.
I feel like we've kind of answered this question a bunch of times too. Like it's a matter of a mixture of both for most people. For some people, they don't hit the gym ever, which is what we just kind of covered. And some people
2 years, I didn't touch the gym for the first 2 years of my arm wrestling career. In fact, it's only been the last year and a half that I've actually gone hard at it, and I can see abs again and shit like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, yeah, look good, feel good, do good.
All right, we got Micah Miller. Oh, well, he's got a question for me. He said, Ryan, I saw your match with Rich Lepke's and it looked brutal, killer comeback. Can you talk about how strong he felt, his age, and your prep leading up to the match? General physical preparedness. I didn't train any differently than anyone else, but I did watch the match with Mike Gould in particular to see how he was successful against Richard. So kind of in match 2, if you look at match 2 and match 1 from Mike Gould's match with him, compare those two, and I think you'll see similarities.
Mm-hmm.
Just training heavy. And Rich is 64 years old. Man, I don't know I'm sure I have gotten stronger in the 9 years since I've arm wrestled him, but I'm not sure he's lost a step. The man from the neck down looks 30 years old and is intimidating to be across the table from. He is a strong individual.
Yeah, super nice guy too.
Yeah, and a great ambassador. Okay, the next question is, what is your take on weight classes? I walk around at about 210, which is where I feel strongest. However, at most shows I fall right in the middle of 2 classes, and although I have to cut weight before, I did not enjoy it. Should I just pull wherever you feel strongest or try to make the top end of the nearest class?
Double-edged sword.
Yeah.
I personally, I walk around about $176. If the weight class is 176, I'll pull 176. If the weight class is 165, I'll pull 165. And I've gotten my weight cut down pretty well now. I can do 15 pounds relatively. I don't want to say easy because there's a little bit of work involved at the bottom end of it. You know what I mean? Them last 4 pounds, you got to sweat them off. But, yeah, if you're within 7 to 10% of your body weight of making that next class down, cut the weight because you're going to be healthy enough. If it's 24-hour weigh-in, you got enough time to put it back on, you're going to be fine. But if it's same day weigh-in and shit like that, pull your class.
You know my take on it? I think you should always be at the top end of your weight class.
Yeah.
But I think you should also be I don't like the 24-hour weight cut to be able to weigh in and then be 30 pounds above your class the next day, which that's extreme. But, take UFC fighting, for example, GSP cutting to 170 and being 190 by the time he fights.
That's the cut I use. I use GSP's plan. That's the cut plan I use. And yeah, it works, man.
Well, I think that there should be and I know that logistically it's impossible to do this, but same-day weigh-in would solve this problem immediately. Nobody is going to look forward to doing a weight cut and then arm wrestling within a few hours.
Yeah,
I tried in San Diego for the Yellow Fisher tournament.
Yeah.
It didn't go good. I got beat by Sam.
The 24-hour weigh-in is everyone plays with the same rules. So if one person's better at cutting or getting the weight back on than you are, too fucking bad. I'm okay with it because other sports are okay with it. What would it look like if MMA and boxing all run that rule, but arm wrestling does it looks weak. In terms of should you, it's like recommending a guy should prefer a brunette over a blonde. If you prioritize your gains and your strength and your health, you pull up. If you prioritize that trophy, that medal, or the money, or as Bishop says, win at all costs, if that's where your priority lies, lose the weight. But
Tom Nelson would die trying.
Yeah, but
it's interesting.
My only advice to people that are trying to lose weight to make weight is, if it's the first time you've done it, don't try to do it. Like you have to. This is something that you need to perfect. If the first time you're doing it, don't like you said 7 to 10%. 7 to 10%. If the first time you're trying to cut weight, I don't recommend 7 to 10%. I recommend 4 to 5. It usually takes many times before a guy can get it to the perfect science to where he can cut 7 and 10 and get back to a functional strength. Like 7 to 10% of your body weight lost in water.
And a lot of it is sodium loading, and then not having carbs, and doing it at the right time. Timing is everything with these cuts, man. Possibly that's what happened with Tony's. He fucked up on the timing. It's
an art, and it's something that has to be practiced. And
that Vegas tournament in 2014, I think it was. The Game Arms tournament is the one I call it. It was at the House of Blues where they were peddling Get On Game Arms Season 2, and that was the big draw. I weighed in 165 pounds dressed for that event. You know what I mean? So I've done both. I've weighed in same day and been at weight, and I've done, the 19-pound cut. And I'll tell you, it's a lot easier or a lot more comfortable to just weigh in and be the weight, but there's a lot of an advantage that comes in with them extra 10, 15 pounds. It does matter. It makes a difference. Like the Sam and Tony match, that extra weight made a difference. It really did. And I'm not knocking Tony. At least I hope he doesn't think I am, because I'm going to have to arm wrestle him soon. But how big is too big? And I think that answer is 20 pounds.
Well, 20 pounds for Ryan is nothing. 20 pounds for us, life and death.
Yeah. Well, yeah. And you know what? You go by percentage of body weight. If you go over 10% of your body weight, like 12, 15, now you're getting really fucking dangerous. You know what I mean? And now you are talking about shutting down your kidneys, melting your liver. Like,
I would never recommend anyone go over 10%. Anyone in water weight.
Yeah. It's interesting that you use Justin Bishop though as an example, when he has gone the other way and he's decided to not cut weight.
Yeah, I know. Him and Calvin went up and they've had all kinds of success. Like,
yeah, makes
me wonder, like, what kind of success would I have if I went up? But those guys are exceptional athletes. They had that natural freak strength, And Justin and Paul, they're both absolutely awesome on both arms.
Well, Justin was more, I was just paraphrasing his quote because his quote is, he said it 20 minutes ago. But if he stuck it, while it has 165 or has 195 or has lightweight, that's their lightweight and that's their middleweight. But let's say they decided to have a 187 or even a 176, he's untouchable. Like Justin is a high end tier 4, that's why, it makes sense to me that Bowen was challenging him, because Bowen sees a man that's a high-end, elite arm wrestler with a very reputable name, but Bowen walks around at 25 pounds, 20 pounds heavier than him, and knows that that's an advantage. So it's like he sees an angle about pulling Justin, and if he beats Justin, it's huge for his resume. But
I wish Justin would come back down to 165, only for the reason that I never got a chance to pull him at lightweight. And that was one of the guys, like, after I beat Giannis, that was the one guy that I really, really wanted to arm wrestle. Was I wanted to hold hands with Justin Bishop, and it never happened. You know what I mean? He went up in weight, and now, forget about it, man. Light years away. You know what I mean? Like, he'd make me look like a fucking novice, more or less a tier 1. You know what I mean? Like, just.
I heard he weighed 205 versus Rob, and Rob probably weighed 205. The difference is Rob's been holding on to 205 for damn near a decade, and Justin's been gradually putting that weight on, forcing it on.
And how much of that weight was actually bloated weight? Justin's probably actually like a 185, right. 187 guy, and bloated up 12, 13 pounds. It's not functional muscle like we like to talk about. You know what I mean?
That's my point exactly. It hasn't sat on him long enough, and he still, was in the conversation. So that's why I find, although Justin doesn't have the reputation as being the baddest motherfucker at 198. But he would be at 187. Him and Craig, 187, 176, 180, 185.
Him and Juliet, man. Yeah, you know what? That's one we need to watch. And Neil Pickup, if you're watching this, set that shit up. I don't know if Justin's got the arm to hold off Greg's hit, but I'd like to watch it. I don't even know if that's happened yet. Has it?
No, Craig would be favored, but that would be, like you said, that would be an amazing matchup. Hard to predict.
And you know who I want to watch Bowen arm wrestle? Mike Cilieris. That's who I want to see Bowen arm wrestle.
No, you don't. I think that's one match Ryan could exploit. I think Mike's hot and cold. Mike's not the Mike of 2007, 8, 9. We've seen him have good days. We've seen him have bad days. And for someone with such a gigantic hand, he seems to lose his riser often or lose his hand. Not his hand so much, but his riser. I don't know if that would be a good matchup for Mike. I'd like to see fucking Paul Lynn get a goddamn match. That's a guy I want to see get a match. Not necessarily
Paul
Ryan.
Lynn's a monster, man. And Paul Lynn is what I like to call an actual athlete. There's very few of what I'm not even going to say us because I don't even consider myself like an athlete anymore. But there's very few athletes in the sport of arm wrestling. Paul is an athlete. He's going to go far. And
one of the few guys
he knows how to diet, and he's got a will to win. You know what I mean? He's got a desire. It's going to happen. It's already happening. You know what? That's the guy that's been in the sport less time than I have. Paul Lynn's been pulling like 2 years. And look what the shit he's done, man.
Yeah, one of the three guys I think that can offer a threat to RVJ. I think there's only 3 of them on Earth in that weight class. So he's one of them.
And he trains with the right freaking people, man. You know what I mean?
Smart. Well, he's smart. He's got a head on his shoulders. He's smart. He's analytical. He's driven. So yeah, he's got it all.
I like Paul. I'm a Paul Lynn fan. Let's put it that way.
Well,
except when he beat Paul Talbot, I couldn't be a Paul Lynn fan then. You know what I mean? Because
who the fuck wouldn't be a Paul Lynn fan? Like, show me the guy that doesn't like Paul Lynn. Like, who the fuck? How sociopathic do you need to be to not fucking like Paul Lynn? Like, give me an example why someone would not like Paul Lynn.
You got a good point there. If you don't like Paul Lynn, go get yourself checked out.
I mean, I mostly hate everyone, and I love Paul Lynn. Like, how can you not like Paul Lynn? He helps people. He listens to people. He does what he can. My only criticism on him is he calls everyone and his neighbor a beast, right? But that's an endearing thing. It's not that.
Well, the thing is he's young in the sport. You know what I mean? Like, the shine hasn't quite worn off yet. You know what I mean? So everybody's a beast. So
yeah. All good with Paul. All good. And I hope to see him on a card.
Yeah.
Oh, I think we'll see him again too.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not a matchmaker, and I don't know what the matchmaker's thinking. But I'll tell you this much: there's some entertaining matches that can be made for next year, and he's definitely in a couple of them.
No doubt.
Well, boys, I got no more questions. So, what do you guys got?
Oh shit, man! Anything for me, man?
Man, I wanted to talk to you about the Jeff Hale thing. I wanted to talk to you about Wall. We touched on your training, which I wanted to talk about. A little bit of your history. I think I'm pretty good.
You know what? We got to give James Dugan, Michelle Dugan's husband, a little bit of credit. He's the one that came up with the Angry Bird nickname, right?
Yeah,
yeah.
Well, we had to touch on that. We got to give him credit where it's due and how that whole thing came about. And that actually started in 2017 when they announced the money for their tournament series, the 4 majors,
right?
Like that one and the Liberty Brawl and stuff. I was like, oh, WAL majors, more like a major disappointment and like all this other shit, right? And yeah, James is like, he's like, Adam, you need to watch this movie. And I'm like, what? He's like, it's you. Like, watch the first 10 minutes. And like, he sends me a link and I'm like, all right, whatever. And I let it sit on the shelf for a couple weeks. And then I watched it and I'm like, oh, God, man, fuck you, James. Why do you got to be so right? You know what I mean? Like, if there was ever a shoe to wear that fit, that was it. You know what I mean? Like, and yeah, just kind of ran with it from there. And Jeff Luke's the one that made it stick, of all people.
don't ever change, dude. Like they're like you're a necessity. That you know, like things, don't like things. It's a necessity to speak your mind. So don't ever fucking change.
Yeah. And I'll tell you, if I would have beat Jeff, like it was hard enough to bite my lip and not say some things when they stuck the microphone in front of my face. But if I would have beat Jeff, oh my God, dude, I don't know exactly how I would have reacted. Like I might have went the super happy direction, or I might have went the super aggressive fuck you direction. You know what I mean? Because there's a lot of people that deserve a lot of what do you want to say? They deserve their dose of humble pie for saying the shit they said about me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And, I wish I could have served it up.
You were close, man.
Things tend to come around.
Yeah. All right, Adam. Well, thanks for coming on the show, buddy.
Guys, thanks for having me. It was a pleasure. You know, I enjoyed talking to you, Chris. I'm going to see you soon. All right, buddy. Ryan, we'll see you at a tournament going down
Absolutely.
the road.
For sure.
Everybody, thanks for tuning in. Have a great night.
Take it easy.
All right. Thanks, guys.
Good stuff.